All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. It is Monday, brand new week, May 8th, 2023. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join me this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and get started. Dow futures up about 83 points. Banks and energy are leading the way. PAC West, Pacific West Bank, I believe that's the name, PACW. They went ahead and actually cut their dividend. Let me get the exact headline for you guys. Regional banks. PAC West cuts the dividend. That's making the small caps like RTY rally a little bit here. You could see that up 0.41%. The banks are up today. The regional banks, the KRE, that's up today. PACW or PACW, which is the bank, PAC West, they're up like 33% this morning. So again, seeing a little bit of a rotation, and we're going to talk about that this morning regarding the banks and energy. The reason I say that is that I actually feel the position personally with Nick. We did the XOM 110 calls. If you guys remember, I've been talking about XOM. I've been talking about crude oil. So I didn't send the signal. I didn't want to do it on my own. I didn't want any risk for the guys over the weekend, but it looks like it'll hit in the money. So we'll go over oil here in a second. NASDAQ is red this morning, starting to hit its head a little bit of resistance right around 13,370. Remember, we have CPI on Wednesday, so it's either breakout or we're going to reject and come back down a little bit. S&P 500 futures are green, 4156. Again, that 4150 zone, that's pretty much where you've been stuck at, kind of that magnet line. I've been tweeting about that forever. Really, the whole month of April has been this way. So until we start really getting a leg lower and actually breaking down below 4060 or breaking above 4200, you're kind of stuck here, guys. Russell, again, RTY, that's up 0.40%, getting a little bit of a bounce here. Watching this for a possible short if we get below 1700. That's a long ways away. But again, if we're looking for more upside, if you go to the daily chart, we'll see if we break any major moving averages. Again, we're rejecting the 20-day. We know how important the 20-day moving average is. But even if it did, it's not very compelling for a long either. So if anything, we're probably looking for more weakness. You can see a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern. Again, that's a bearish scenario for Russell, at least for now. Let's go to crude. Crude is something that I have been speaking of now for a couple of days and last week. You can see that red line again. That's our 200-week moving average. Bounced off that, wicked off that. We haven't been below that since, I believe, February of 2021. So again, it doesn't mean that we can't break it, but again, it seems that a little more upside could be in the cards. We need to break 74.76. If we do, I would take a look at some crude futures longs, but on the micro contract, so we don't get really hit with that margin, right around 76.69. That'd be our 20. And if you're an options trader, keep an eye on the XLE. XLE is the ETF. The major holdings are CVX, which is Chevron, and ExxonMobil. On the hourly chart, you can see we're actually bouncing a little bit. We got a little bit of room to 82.86, so about $1 more. If we go to the daily here, you can see that we did break below the moving averages. And how about this? XLE has a death cross. So maybe this crude bounce may be a little short-lived. Doesn't mean this 50 can't get above the 200, but as of right now, XLE is in a death cross. XOM is not in a death cross, obviously, even though XLE's biggest holding is XOM. But again, bouncing off the 200-day moving average, that's what I played, that 110 to this target here. We're on 111. If we get above 111 here, this cross, I'll keep an eye here for the 114 gap fill on XOM. So XOM is definitely on my radar. I'll be watching that and see if that 200-day holds for us and see if crude gets a little more of a bid. Of course, every Wednesday, we have the inventory report. Gold futures are up this morning, 2031. Gold has been a one that everyone's been talking about lately, obviously being a recession hedge, bank hedge, everything. Pretty much just chopping around again. If you're looking to swing it here, if you go to the daily, you could see that wick of 2085 rejected. You're still above the 20-day, but again, I would want to wait and see if we break below 2,000 as support and see if we can hold, maybe retest that 20-day and hold it there. And then I can have a small stop right at 2,000 if we continue to fall, and then just play if we can get back above around 2060. But let's see if we can get to that 20 first. I'll place my alert here at 2017. And again, they have micros too, so it's not like you have to go full on futures position on gold. Silver futures down 0.21%, 25.87. Copper futures up 1% this morning. 10-year Treasury yields bouncing up 3.5%, up to or above 3.5%. 101.11 for the dollar. You know that's going to change on Wednesday because of CPI. So we're going to see what the expectation is on CPI rather quickly. So CPI on a year-over-year basis, the expectation is 5%. If we can get a 4 handle, that'd be huge. If we can get there. Remember, June and July is when we're going to get those big drops year-over-year number because that was the peak of inflation last year. CPI month over month, the expectation is 0.4%. Last one was 0.1%. We also have PPI, and that was in negative territory. The expectation for the PPI on a core basis is 0.2%, PPI month over month being 0.3%. So the core CPI, the expectation is 0.3%. You strip out autos and gas. That's what you get is the core. In terms of the 10-year Treasury yield, 3.5% today. There is a 10-year Treasury auction. The previous yield was 3.46%. So we're a little higher than where we were then. VIX is at 1759, up 2.33%. Let's go ahead and chart this together. And we do have a gap to fill here at 1724. So we may have a little more upside room in the S&P, maybe in the NASDAQ is what I'm expecting. Just a little bit more here, and then we have 1615 on the VIX. I would expect those gaps to fill this week, either with a CPI boost or some kind of buying program where the VIX just gets smashed. Dollar again, 134.99, euro dollar up 0.16%, 110.37. Bitcoin is down 6.5%, 27,820, and Ethereum 1860 down about 7%. So we know the drill with Bitcoin and Ethereum. You just have to just wait it out. All right, let's go ahead and see what else is on the radar. I do have Tesla here. That was part of the watch list. Broke above 172. That was a level I'm looking for. There's a gap to fill on the daily here at 177. Let's see, it's right here. There you go. You can see this gap here at 177. You're still below the 20. A break of 171, which we did. Now we're at 173. We may have run out of room for 177. So the trade was probably doing it last week. So we'll just keep an eye on it and see if we get a little bit of a pullback. Maybe we do retest that 170 20-day moving average, and then we can play the pop there to the gap fill. Or it's just going to run a little higher, and we'll just see what we get. All right, guys, that's where we are for the day. Can't say a lot is going on. We do have some earnings coming up, but nothing really that huge. Disney does report this week, and we have CPI this week. Other than that, Fed is done. We also had earnings as well. The bulk of it, the majority of it is over. So now we got to see what we get in terms of the month of May. We know that it's seasonally weak. So again, I probably see us chopping a little bit more. If the NASDAQ does reject, then again, I expect the S&P to start retesting below 4,100. So we may be at a point where this is as good as it gets, at least for the foreseeable future, until we actually see the CPI number actually improve. That may be this month or next month. But again, the compelling case is, why should you buy stocks here? And that's tough. That's a tough argument here, unless you start breaking out. But we haven't yet. So we'll wait and see. Have a great rest of your day. I will catch you guys tomorrow for the next morning note. We'll see you guys then. Cheers.